Pierre here. In this quick video, I want to show you how you can use clay templates to save time and energy. So what I mean by this is, every company has a specific type of persona that they want to go after. So what if you could build like one table that goes and finds these personas, one type of company, and then you can reuse that same table to go and find those same personas at another type of company. So rather than reinventing the wheel and having to do another table, you can just duplicate it and use it for another demographic. Whether you want to go find new people or new companies, you can just basically reuse the same templates. And so I'm going to show you a live example of what I mean by this. So I built a super complicated agentic workflow for another ICP. So, before we were going after sports teams, and in this case, we're going to try to target universities. And so, I went in some of these prompts, and instead of saying, look for the people at these sports teams, I'm saying, look at these people at these universities. So I did have to tweak the prompts a little bit, but as you can see, the template itself is super long. I'll get into why that is in just a second. But the idea is to import data into this template and have it run automatically and basically do the work for me, right? So I'm going to do this live. And so, there's going to be things like auto update is off here. And so it's not going to run automatically. So I'm going to have to actually manually go in and run these companies. So the first thing I want to do is go and find the companies that are of interest. And how I do this is I can go and find companies here with Clay. So you can go to find companies. It's fairly simple. And then you can go and look for the companies that you want to go after. In this case, I'm going to look at this. This is, pretty close to the companies I want to be targeting. So, I'm looking at the type of business that they are, the size. So how did I get here? I kind of want to backtrack. And so in order to backtrack, I'm going to go to the source and then edit source. And I can see the filters that I used. And the reason I'm doing this is because I actually want to be using those same filters in that new table. So the industry is higher education, and then we're excluding e-learning and e-learning providers. Location is US and Canada. Okay, great. So I'm gonna take a quick screenshot of this, put it in my other screen. That way I have it handy when bringing in data into this agentic flow. So the source was different, right? We were targeting sports teams. And so in this case, we're gonna get rid of the source. We're gonna keep North America, US and Canada, and we're gonna change the industry to the industry that is of interest in this case. So again, different companies that we're going after, but we're gonna be using the same knowledge to go and target different people at these companies. I'm doing like this live with you, so it might mess up and I might have to make a few tweaks in the template, and at least that way you'll know that this is live. Let's go to this. Keyword description, we'll write university, and we should be finding around 6,000 companies here. 6,573, which is pretty aligned with the last table that we were looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and import this into this template that I built. Also, sorry for the background noise. I'm in Buenos Aires, Argentina. All right, so maybe I'll check back in once this data starts loading. Cool. Wow, so that happened all at once. Let's go and run some of these manually. So what we're doing here is we're having AI go on each website to try to find decision makers at these companies. So the beauty of this is that we're not having to rely on the basic like Apollo, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Zoom Info, you name it, type of data providers. We can go and actually use AI to go find people at these companies without relying on traditional data providers, right? And by the way, the last campaign that we did for using these AI agents, we got a 10% reply rate. Industry average is between 2 to 3% reply rates, especially in 2025 when email deliverability is pretty hard. And so, in this case, I was super happy with that performance, which is why I want to repeat. I want to use AI agents again to go and find data for me. So we're using OpenAI's 4.0 Mini. It's taking some time. It has a lot of inputs it has to look through. So we're giving it the domain, name, LinkedIn URL. As we're saying, search the university's website. These are the types of roles you could look into. It's got a lot of data to sift through. So this is not working. Let's look at the prompt, name, website, LinkedIn URLs. Okay, great. We want it in JSON. All right, it's a little bit slow, but we are finding some people. So we found Karen here, Karen and Catherine. Looks like this person does not have a first name, which is why we're not able to bring it in. But we do have their last name, which seems to be Verna Walker. Or do we have a problem with first name, full name? Okay, there's a W here. That might be part of the issue. Got it. That should be full name for this person. Sweet. We'll have to do some cleaning here with the W's of the world. But we found 3 people, right? Well, in this case, we found 9. The reason we're limiting it to 3 and we're actually having the AI rank them in order based on most highest likelihood of purchasing. Let me show you what that looks like in the prompt. If multiple relevant contacts are found, rank them in order of relevance to the merchandise decisions, right? So based on who we're looking for, ranking them in order. The reason we're only getting 3 is because we're actually having to independently go and find their emails, validate their data, push them into different sequences, use AI to personalize the opener. We're having to like separate each column for each three. And so say we found 10 POCs, we'd have to do 10 columns. So that's why I'm loving, like, that's why I like using templates for this case specifically also. But yeah, so that worked. Great. Let's see if we can run some of these and run this. So I'm doing all this, clicking all these manually because we have the auto update off in Clay, which means it's not going to run automatically. So what this is doing is, I believe we're using TriKit, which is a new tool to go and find emails with the names. If we're not able to find these people with TriKit, we're going to go and use other data providers. So I only want to run 3 columns here. This is a waterfall, and we're going to verify the emails. The reason I'm only running a couple rows, by the way, first is because we want to do some testing before we launch fully. This is where we sort of like debug the template, but you will see what the final output looks like in just a second. And I was like, I'm gonna work. I might as well record myself working so that you guys can see how I think about these things. And eventually you can turn auto update on so that it's always running in real time. What I mean by this is you go to edit column, auto update on. That way you can create more of like a live machine. So we've already added these people to, so what have we done? We've gone and used AI to go on company websites, company LinkedIn URLs, and go and find decision makers at these companies who may be interested in a certain product or service, right? Then once we have their full names, right, structured out in JSON format. So here we have Ethan, who's the Vice President of Chief Marketing Officer. Which university is this? Texas A University, so a pretty big university. We have the VP of Marketing at this university. We have their LinkedIn profile. We have everything we want. Very well structured for us. The AI went and structured it in a JSON format. Then we used an email finding tool to, based on their full name and their LinkedIn profile, go and find their emails. Once we have the email, we are validating the emails. Once we validated the emails, we are creating personalized first line openers. So let's go ahead and look at an example. That's an example. That's another example. So they're all personalized openers based on the universities and what it is that we're offering. And then we're pushing these into separate campaigns. Let's go ahead and look what that campaign, let's see what that campaign looks like in Instantly. And this is what this would look like in Instantly. Howdy Shia, as the WashU community rallies behind innovation, have you considered custom socks to boost alumni engagement? Other universities like, so relevant social proof. Could I send over some designs I had? So again, very relevant opener. And we used the template to do this. So it took us 15 minutes rather than hours building a new Clay table. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.